Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ruler here, and today I'm doing another custom Lego military build review. And as you can see here, yes, surprise surprise, this is not a Brickmania kit. This kit is actually being made and produced by a company called Armorbrick, and if I'm not mistaken, they're based in Russia. And before getting into details of this build, I'd like to make maybe a disclaimer and just say a couple of words. As you can see on the back tail, there's a couple of things happening there in Cyrillic, and this is a modern jet, and this is related to a recent conflicts. And I'm not very keen on doing, for personal reasons, build and review related to Ukraine, Russia war, and this is kind of what exactly is happening here. Since I already built this vehicle, I was like, okay, might as well just then kind of go through this a little bit. But this review, and this is the disclaimer part when it comes in, is purely for the model and for the jet purposes, has no political connotations whatsoever. So please look at this as I'm just looking at this vehicle. We can just pretend this is before 2022, and hopefully we're just going to get through this. Thank you for understanding. And maybe while we're at it, and since I'm based in the EU, I would like to make another disclaimer. EU Parliament declared Russia to be a state sponsor of terrorism due to the war crimes committed against the civilians in Ukraine and against the civilian infrastructure. So I just want to throw that there as well. Also, without getting, I guess, too political, it's good to mention that Ukraine is being recognized as an independent nation within its borders by United Nations, and is also a member of United Nations, by the way. And the funny thing about recognizing Ukraine independence, I just have to mention it, one of the first countries that I recognized was actually, guess what, Russian Federation. And this is basically how it happened. They created an organization. There was 3 countries originally, former Soviet Union countries, that created an organization called Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS. And in there was Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus who signed the agreement. And one of the key agreement clause was acknowledgement of all those CIS states of each other territorial integrity that needs to be respected within the established borders. So here you go. Alright, since we got the not so much fun disclaimer and not being political while being political out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the background of this jet. Just say a couple of words what it is and give a little bit of a stats as I normally do in my videos. So this is a Sukhoi SU-25, or in this case, I don't know why the Armorbrick is called S-25. And then NATO designation for this jet is the Frogfoot. The Russians call it Su-25, Su-25 Grach. And Grach is like a type of bird. I think it's called rook in English. So this is a subsonic single seat, as you can see. There's a single seat version right here in front of us. Twin engine. We have the engines on both sides. Jet aircraft. It was introduced on July 19th, 1991 into the Soviet Union forces, and yes, back then Soviet Union still existed. And there's different variants and configurations of this jet that exist. Of course, it was modernized, and there was about 1,000 or over 1,000 of those built. Outside of Russia, SU-25 saw service in other CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States countries, air forces. And it saw action in various conflicts, for example, Soviet-Afghan War, Iran-Iraqi War, and this one was used on the Iraqi side, and both Chechen wars, and the Russians used it, and then Russian-Georgian War, and of course, as I previously mentioned, the most recent Ukraine-Russian War, or what the Russians call the Russian Special Military Operation. And to note, there was also African nations that used it in their conflicts when they purchased this jet back in the Soviet days. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the build itself. So I took it off the stand, so maybe it's a little bit easier for me to handle. So here you go. This is what it looks like, and I think it looks pretty cool. I love the cam on this. It definitely looks very accurate to the source model, source jet, I guess. Let's go ahead and maybe talk about the prints first. So we have printed tiles on this side where the cockpit is 73, and you can see it's like a cross element printing, which is really cool. And we have on this side, on the wing, we have a star. And I noticed that the printing is not the best quality, as you have some lines cross over. Like that thing around the star is supposed to be white, I think, but then you can see it's going a little bit red. Then we have a tail right here. We have some series markings or whatever it is, RF. I think RF stands for Russian Federations. And we have this VVS России, which means Russian Air Forces, I believe. And then, so this one kind of collapsed a little bit because this piece fell off, which is fine. But overall, I've been kind of handling this quite a lot before, just rolling around, and it rolls really nicely. So I can say is the landing gear is done very well. So it's very sturdy from that point. And we'll get to the landing gear point afterwards, but still want to talk about the actual top section. And we have those collapsible or movable wing flaps. And same thing on this side. We have all the prints exact the same, except I think this star is not this cross element print as on this side. It's quite a decent size kit. Again, having a little trouble trying to show you this while fitting on the camera screen. Then we have all the loadouts as well. Let's go ahead and maybe try to show them. So we have some FAB bombs, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not super good with the Russian military equipment or weapons. I know those two right here. I'm trying to show this while holding. This is the rocket pods, very commonly used. On this side right here, if I don't mess it up, we're supposed to have a 30mm machine gun. And a really cool way, the way you build it is you kind of build the top section first, and then you build the bottom one, and then you connect it somehow in the middle. And maybe you can see there's a little bit of a gap here too. So some things are not like fully connected, but it works. It works, and it looks very nice. And you get this really nice smooth bottom. And if I'm not mistaken, the landing gear retracts, but the way you retract it, you actually have to, let me go ahead and maybe give a little bit of a zoom here. You actually have to actually remove the wheels. It doesn't retract together. So let me go ahead and try to do this here. And it's not very difficult, so you kind of do this. Maybe zoom out. And then here you go. The wheels are out of the way, and you have basically a jet in the flight configuration. But the unfortunate thing about this, there's no stand. So this one doesn't come with the stand. Maybe you can improvise and make your own, but otherwise you kind of have to keep it on the wheels all the time. But let's go ahead and have a look at the cockpit really quickly. Maybe put the stand here, see how that looks like without the gears, without the landing gear down. I think it looks pretty good. All right, so let's give a closer look inside the cockpit. So as you can see, this opens up, and then we have a minifig. Inside the cockpit, there's no printing. Quite basic, but it works. So you kind of have the seat here. And this is the minifig that it came with. You're not very impressed with the print job. You can tell the quality of the prints are a bit smeared, so the lines are not fully there. But there's attempts of having a camo in the backpack. So remove this. And there's also a custom printed face, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to take it fully off, but this is what it looks like. Again, the print lines probably can do a little better work adjusting, making sure it works properly. But once again, I'm not sure what the capabilities are for the Armorbrick. Yeah, but this is the pilot minifig right here. And yeah, this is pretty much it. This is the most that I want to talk about. Kind of, I think, highlighted the key items here. I think probably can do a better job sitting the minifig inside. Oh. All right, maybe a couple other things to mention while I'm doing this review, while I'm out of here. So here's basically the box. So I'm trying to show that as well. So this is the box that it came with. Again, not the kind of the best box. And I bought it on aftermarket. I bought it on eBay for about a half of the retail price, what it went for. So, I mean, you can tell it kind of already getting squished here and there. And this is the manuals for the Armorbrick. I'll go ahead and show that. The manual is pretty good, self-explanatory. The only issue I have is then the quality of the actual manual made. I have already some staplers coming out. Again, maybe it's from the previous owner. I've been handling it, but I'm trying to be just like I would handle any normally instructions manual, and I already have some pages basically coming out. And then this on same thing on this thing as well. As you can see, I have some pages already kind of sticking out right here. So that's not really good, as I think, you know, it was not very used much, and you're already kind of dealing with this kind of issues. Maybe something that Armorbrick can look into and work out. But the thing is, I just checked out Armorbrick website, and it seems it's been down, so you can't really buy any kits from this company anymore. Maybe possibly from some resellers in Russia, but it's something I cannot confirm or tell you for sure. So yeah, so here's the review of this build, SU-25. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. If you liked the video or anything about this build that you enjoyed, please comment in the video, subscribe, and come back for more. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.